Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Friday Night on the Homestead. Tonight's topic is Wildfire on the Homestead, saving the animals. But before we get going too far, I'd like to remind everybody, please share this out because there's a lot of people that are going to need to know this information from tonight because most people forget to plan for their pets. And here we are, back in showing everybody. Hey!
Hola.
I was looking up finally. There we go. All righty. So I thought I had a special guest lined up. She couldn't make it tonight, but she's going to come on at another time. And she may be dragging her captain in from the Contra Costa Consolidated Fire Protection District. Noelle Cross is the person I was going to have try to come on. She just went to work for them a year and a half ago. The previous 15 years, she was working at Animal Services in Contra Costa County. She wrote the animal addendum for the CERT program for the nation. And so this is exactly her thing, but she needed more lead time on it. And I spent the last 3 days trying to track her down when I wasn't sick, find out where she was now when I found out she was no longer working at Animal Services before I found out she's at Consolidated Fire. So anyways, let's see who's all here and say hi to everybody. Got Courtney's husband here and Uncle Al and Dave are talking to him. Aiden came in, Kaylin Strain, Klingon Princess, Backwoods Law, Mary Beth Smith, Prep for It, Butch, Sand Hollow Homestead. I want to back up here for a second. Tasha, I missed you Wednesday night. I was sick as a dog, and that's why I missed your stream there on Wednesday. All right. Get rid of that. Little pop-ups popping up here. Sand Hollow, Backwoods Live. Everyone's chit-chatting good. Courtney's in the house now. Gardner Josh is here. Cecilia Ravencat Homestead's here. And I froze.
Yep.
And that's, I think I caught everybody. If I missed somebody, I apologize. Welcome. And for all those that are out there just watching the side chat, welcome as well.
Hello, lurkers.
And yeah, nothing wrong with saying hi to everybody else.
Hi, Steve.
Right.
Hi, Michelle.
All righty. So, got another one of the things popping up over here. All righty. So what we have going on here, yeah, okay. Yankee Outdoors just went live too, and so did Prepper Tribe. That's why I started a couple minutes early because they're starting to step in on my time. Hey, Michelle, how's it going? They've usually been on other nights, now they're moving to Friday night.
Right.
Anyways, so tonight's one kind of mutated. It was just going to be talking about, you know, homesteaders and farmers. What are you doing getting prepared? And it kind of grew to be more about the animals. So we're going to be talking more about the animals, not just on the homestead, but even in the city when you have to evacuate from a fire. One of the things that was evident last year and the year before and the year before that in California with their fires, especially with Santa Rosa, that urban areas were being burnt out and people were having to flee, and there were a lot of pets just being left behind. They weren't even putting them in their cars to take them with them. And so that just, chaps my hide no end.
Also, what chaps my hide is people like, oh, Butch and the little cat can fend for themselves. Open the gates and doors and let them run. That pisses
Yeah.
Well, the same thing happens during floods down south and hurricanes. People abandon their pets down there. I mean, they take no precaution at all for their animals. If, for me, a pet is a part of the family. So therefore, I'm going to make every allowance to make sure that pet's taken care of, even if I have to leave. Unless, of course, it's a food pet, then it becomes food instantly. Not to be harsh.
And Liberty Gardens is in the house now. All right, so let me throw this back up here, and we're going to cover a few things here. And all right, wildfires move fast. Whether they're on the open plains or in the mountains, they can move really fast. And they, on the open plains, the grass areas, fires have been clocked at over 60 miles an hour.
Yes.
And they feed themselves. They get the wind, they start creating heat, get an updraft going, bring more air in, more fresh air blowing in, and guess what? It's often running like a runaway freight train. Okay, and sometimes you barely have time to get the animals loaded up, if you have a way to load the animals up before the fire is right on top of you. And that's where some people really fall down. And we're going to talk about this at the end of the slideshow about planning ahead.
I will be cursing at people because I lived through this. And usually you see scenes like this that totally, I'm going to curse worse than Steve on Corsair Trainer, but I'm holding my tongue.
Yeah. And, some people, I mean, like, up in I know in the Napa Valley, the fires just got in on them 4 years ago. And there are a lot of horse stables up there, and they, were screaming for help, and people, went running in there with their trailers to help these people get the horses out of there when they should have evacuated the day before. Sometimes the animals get very nervous when smoke is in the air. And sometimes they'll fight all they can, unless like the smaller ones, if you're holding them, they don't fight as much, but still.
Well, the key thing to most animals is if you blindfold it in some way, shape, or form, it immediately almost always goes docile.
Yeah.
Making it a lot easier. I mean, you see pictures here where they're picking up goats. Some goats you can pick up. Others will shred your legs and arms with their hooves. Best thing to do, just like you have to do with a horse, you have to blindfold it.
Yeah. And that's all part of planning ahead, too. There are bags. Oh, sorry. You have your bug out bags and your auto kits and all the other ones. You need to have, besides your pet kits, you need to have your livestock kits, things you're going to need to get them out in case a fire comes down on you. No, Dustin, they do not. All right. They don't make, as far as I know, they don't make N95 masks or anything but people. And sometimes when you got a lot of livestock, it gets really hard trying to get them rounded up where you can get them loaded into a truck or trailer where you can get them moved. Hey, Drops.
Hey, Drops.
And here's the masks that Dave was talking about, or the blindfold mask things for the horses. And the one you can see, this horse is, I can tell he is very skittish and jumpy.
Well, you can see his neck is super stiff. His ears are straight up. His tail's down. He's ready to bolt.
Yeah, and his you see, yeah, he is rigid there. I mean, his knees aren't bending much at all as he's going. Some of those knees should be a bunch more bent for where he is, but he's cranked up there. And sometimes people were actually herding their livestock down the street trying to get them away from the fire. And I can't tell you how many of the firefighters wound up rescuing cats and dogs up, in California there. And, they had units from the animal services going out there with the kennel trucks, going out there just loading the rescued animals in to take them back. And a lot of them, they don't, unless they were tagged or chipped, they had no way of knowing who the owners were. Now for the good news a little bit here. About 15 and a half years ago, actually closer to 16 years ago, a friend of mine, Noel Cross, Contra Costa Animal Services took the first CERT class put on in the city of Martinez. And she contacted me afterwards and wanted to know why there wasn't anything for animals. And I told her, well, this is what we had. This is what we had developed so far. And I gave her contact numbers for people back in Washington at FEMA. And she got a grant from FEMA to produce a addendum to the CERT program for animals. And she wrote the what's called the CART program, County Animal Rescue Teams. And so she wrote that, and Contra Costa Animal Services rolled it out 2 years before anybody else. Now it's nationwide. And there are, even the American Kennel Club is advocating that their members join the CART teams. There is in-class training that deals with first aid for animals and for the people, because sometimes the dogs bite you, the cats scratch you, the goats, and the rabbits start kicking with their hind legs. They just kind of tear you up. So,
right. Or the steer stomps the hell out of you.
Yeah. And so they learn first aid, everything, just like they do in the CERT class, because there's a short 4-hour tag on for the CERT class, and then there's a 40-hour class for the CART teams. And the CART teams are usually full, the classes. And what they do is they'll find facilities and they'll bring in the portable corrals, and they'll set up for horses, cows, goats. They have team members in the green vest that go out there and do rescuing as well. They make ahead of time. They plan with certain ranchers in the areas, and they'll work with them to get trailers to go to other areas to rescue animals. And sometimes they'll just bring them back to that place, and those ranchers and farmers will host those animals until they can go elsewhere. They also they'll also set up in gymnasiums. They got the for chickens, rabbits, small animals, guinea pigs, and stuff like that.
I have one point. After the fire I had, we made sure that any county fairground where I live, we all have like something like that for poultry and smaller livestock, because we had a headache, because at that time when I was in the wildfire, we had emus. What do you do with 1,000 emus on fire?
Yeah. And what they also have is they set up shelters next to the Red Cross shelters as well. Now, the shelters they set up next to the Red Cross shelters are just like the animal service shelters, only mobile. They have trailers. They got all these kennels and stuff. They pull in, they set up. That way, because when people do bring their pets and go to the Red Cross shelter, you can't bring your pet in here. However, you go right over here to animal services. You can check your pet in like a pet motel, and you can go visit them all the time. And you check the pet in and then come back here. And they check them in, they run them through. All the information is on these tags here hanging down, and they do a great job on it. And so now, folks, if you have livestock of any type and pets, now is the time to make a plan. Hey, Viper's in the house. And so there's Teresa. So now's the time to make a plan for what you're going to do with your animals, because you don't want to come back to this. Now, I want to add as a bonus here, real quick, it's not just for wildfires. Tornadoes, hurricanes, there's a myriad of natural disasters where people have to evacuate, and they need to, the animals need to go too.
Yeah, but there's one we can't prepare for.
I'm afraid to ask which.
It's a 5-letter word. Begins with a B. Ends in an N.
B, ends with an N, 5-letter word.
Wow. I didn't figure it was that.
I'm trying to avoid politicalness here, and I think you're delving into politicalness there with
Who, me? Never.
Captain Crazy.
Yep, Captain
backwards
Crazy.
got it.
Yeah. So,
Can't prepare for that because crazy can't be prepared for because it's always changing.
What do you?
Well, they're typing in the side chat. Well, Viper put brain. But I was trying to avoid political intrigue on this one because this is the sorry, I almost swore, a very serious
it is
matter.
And just to give you some history on how I know the CART team in Contra Costa responded. The hills on the east side of Martinez, California, which is the county seat, borders on 2 different parks, the Briones East Bay Regional Parks District Park and one of the state parks up there. And then there's a bunch of grasslands up there that ranchers use. And invariably, some idiot kid goes up there and they screw around with fireworks and they start a fire. Well, Martinez sits, kind of hard to describe it. It sits on the cusp of the San Francisco Bay Area where it goes. The water goes up the Delta back up to Sacramento. Well, as the water's coming down, the wind blows the other way. The wind's blowing east, the water's flowing west, and there are windmills up there. And sometimes the wind is so bad, some of the areas they can't even put windmills because it's too strong. And you get a fire going, and it blows it right into Martinez. And in Martinez, also right up against this, is the John Muir home and property. And so I don't know how, I would say every other year there's fires coming down there. And there's a lot of horse ranches there. And they roll out and they practice, during the early spring and stuff for going up there and, retrieving animals and stuff from up there. And these guys that work for that footwork, they volunteer. They're all volunteers on the CART team. They're amazing people, and they've saved a lot of animals. So
now, folks, because you guys never face it, Tasha also put up Tasha's remark.
Which one?
So many farmers lost feed.
There we go.
Anybody seen a hay barn burn?
Yeah, actually, I have.
Okay, then you know what.
Light a match. Take a match and light it in your finger. That's kind of what a hay barn looks like. It starts off real teeny, then goes poof, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine that up and down where you live. Every hay barn's on fire. Sorry. Every hay barn's on fire, and you have knuckleheads on the road sightseeing while you're yelling at them, get off the road. We're trying to haul livestock out. That's when the highway patrol, God bless their souls, will ticket your dumb. I won't curse.
I will not comment on your comment, Fishes, because you may be misinformed at this moment. Other than the fact that we've been seeding clouds in this country since 1962.
Correct.
Yeah. Grounds even before we get there. Yeah.
Now, if you
I know that Backwoods Law has worked with the CART teams and the CERT teams before. Yeah.
If you want to help out, make sure all your pets are chipped, have the proper paperwork, show them they're vaccinated, got the rabies shots and everything else, have copies so they can put it in the plastic baggies in front of their cages so they know what's going on with your dog.
Oh, yeah.
Or cat or boa constrictor or whatever.
Yeah, you need to keep a medical record up to date for your pet. It speeds up the process so much faster there. They can take it. If you come the paperwork, they can take it, photocopy it, give you yours back, stick the photocopies in the envelope, and just check everything off real quick. And in 5 minutes, you can be on your way over to the Red Cross shelter.
Right. Now, I have to warn people, if like me, I had 6 horses, a bunch of sheep and goats, but I was smart. I moved all my animals a week before the fire hit my place and burned down my house, burned down my wood. Sorry, I'm getting. I can't curse. No fracuology.
Blood pressure, Al.
I know.
Bring down.
I'm calm. I don't want to stroke out in the middle of this, but this is important, folks. I lost everything from the house, but I didn't lose animals. I lost just tools and a third of my library and half my furniture. But I'm alive. My animals are alive. I'm fine. I still have 2 of the horses. They're older than me and they look like crap.
All right.
We have the same amount of teeth.
All right. Okay. So I got some. I'm gonna backtrack here and show you guys something. All right. So back this off. So this is the San Francisco Bay, and this is the San Pablo Bay, and it rolls on up Sassoon and goes back on up to Sacramento. But the wind just comes through here. This is a funnel. I mean, these are steep hills on the side here, and it wind just comes through here and over here, and this is Barones Regional Park, and you got all these parks here in the green, all the different ones, Crockett Hills Regional Parks, Rankin Park, and this is all grassland basically. A lot of it's grassland with oak trees and shrubs and stuff. And yeah, when it goes, it likes to cook, and it likes to come in right down the canyon here, Franklin Canyon, right into where the John Muir house is at.
Right.
But yeah, but the areas that I have friends that live back up off of these roads here, going up into here. Some have horses and stuff, and yeah, they've actually the one time they closed down the regional medical center and started evacuating people. But the animals up here, there's a lot of animals grazing up in here in the.
Now, Gil, you really shouldn't talk about the other political party. You shouldn't call them animals grazing. That's just rude, son. That's just rude.
No, they don't graze. They destroy vegetation.
They're like, okay. Whatchamacallit?
Hey, CB. Hey, Bob.
I can't pronounce that name.
I can't pronounce the one.
That's CB.
Heggie Homestead?
Heggie.
Heggie Homestead?
Yeah, that's okay. CB. That's CB. CB changed their name.
Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go. There's the answer right there. All right. Put the phonetic pronunciation out there so I don't screw it up anymore. All right. So one of the things, just like, I talk about all the time. I know Tasha talks about this. Our Prep Fort talks about it a bit. The Tasha on Mama Bear Prepping talks about it constantly. Plans. I know, and Steve, of course, they're trainers. Have plans. Make plans. Plans for more of this.
Everybody who has any kind of homestead, prepping materials, whatever, needs to have a binder with plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, maps, documentation for everybody in the household, marriage certificates, land certificates, titles for vehicles, anything that has paperwork to it, including your animals.
Yeah.
And everybody should have at least 2 of them. One that stays in the house and one that stays at a separate location. So if your house is torched, poof, whatever you want to call it, you have a backup copy somewhere.
Backup. Yeah. You don't need a 2 terabyte drive for it, but a thumb drive, you can get a lot of stuff on a thumb drive.
Right.
And
And 64 gig thumb drives now like $10.
Hey, the little flash drives that go in your cameras and stuff. I just saw a 1 terabyte one for $19.
Yeah, but that is so slow.
I know.
But you can, if you're putting on there just pictures of your animals, your documents, and everything else, all you need is probably a 64 megabyte one is all you need, and you can have several of those. You can make copies and send it to your Uncle Joe in another state where he can lock it up in his file cabinet.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead, Al.
Sorry, go ahead. I got to put this a point. When you make your files and paperwork, do have paperwork on your vet stuff. If it's livestock like horses, cattle, you want current vet stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because they're going to be corralled if you don't have private stables or friends that watch your animals. You have to prove that your animals are safe to mingle with other animals. They do not want hoof and mouth disease. They don't want an outset of what's that other one they had in Martinez, Gil, that they have vaccinated all the animals? I forgot about it. It was a big stink. It was mostly farm animals.
Shoot. I know there were. I know that there was one a fire about 8 years ago that they had problems with, and I can't recall. 8 years ago. I'm sorry, my brain's fried.
No problem.
With all that stuff, but yeah, there were some problems. People trying to bring stuff in. They had absolutely no paperwork for it, and if I remember right, they actually had to send them farther. They had to send them all the way out to the Antioch Fairgrounds and isolate them out at the Antioch Fairgrounds, which is another 28 miles or so.
Because, folks, you do not want an epidemic between farm animals, because livestock is a farm animal. You don't want, God, it's like, this is why I'm cursing and has.
Yeah, so you need to make sure all your animal stuff is taken care of, up to date, and you can prove it. If you can't prove it didn't happen.
Without video evidence, the crime never occurred. Same goes for your paperwork and your property. No paperwork, you don't own it. Of course, in this country, we really don't own anything anyway.
Yes, Bob, I'm feeling better. They took off
don't
the
get me started.
Oh, which one?
Oh, it has something to do with where I'm currently living.
No.
The county out front is now taking 10 feet of the roadway to expand the road and make a sidewalk here for people that walk back and forth across here because of the target just down the road and all that other stuff. And yeah, they're taking 10 feet of easement off of the front of his property, putting the edge of the road right at the edge of this little porch sidewalk that he's got out front. They're going to remove one section, 2.5 foot section of his sidewalk, and he's going to have to replace that himself. Not to mention the fact that he's losing 10 foot of driveway space, the entire front area of his front yard.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's not get started on what we do and don't own.
Yeah. All right. So when you're planning for your animals, like Dave said, you need to have multiple plans. Where can you take them?
Yep.
And what how you're going to get them there?
Okay.
Probably there are. I know in Contra Costa County there's several different associations. There's the Horse Owners Association, the Cattlemen's Association. There's the 4-H Club. Their association thing, and basically, you can find out where somebody else is in a different area and make a deal. Okay, if your area burns, you can bring your animals here. If mine burn, we'll bring my animals to your place, and you set up ahead of time agreements in place where you can do stuff like that. Because if you that way they know if you're catching a fire, they're grabbing several of their neighbors and their trailers, and they're heading to grab all your animals to bring them back to his place, and vice versa. If his place starts to go, you get some neighbors, grab their trailers, and you guys all go out there and swap back and forth. Hey, Kathy. Okay, is that a picture of a fire around you? Yes, it is.
And folks, before it gets like this condition, make sure you evacuated all the animals and your neighbors who live in mobile homes or pre-built homes saying, we can live out throughout this fire thing. You drag them out and you get them out, because I lost 11 of my neighbors like that at the first homestead, and never again will I hear that say, we could ride it out. That's why
you do not ride out a wildfire.
No.
Unless you're in an underground bunker. And even then you don't want to be around there, because you got to draw air in from somewhere.
Right.
So unless you got an NBC filter in there.
Yeah. Hey, Built on a Rock Homestead.
Or air tanks.
There is planning for animals is something too many people, and this is what got Noelle and helped to develop the program to begin with. And I wish she could have made it up here. I mean, she would have let slip a few words as well. But she is the kindest, gentlest person until you start mistreating animals, and then you've released a grizzly bear on yourself. But
backwoods, all a mobile home or manufactured home is a chimney laying on its side.
Right. But folks, understand this. I've seen stupid people do this. They'll let go of their farm animals, their pets. You'll be free. Escape from the fire. Okay, that causes highway patrol, the CERT teams, anybody else who's trying to flee or pick up people and try to flee. You have cattle in the middle of the road. You have sheep in the middle of the road.
Jay.
Some of them are hurt, and you have to put it down, which is a really ugly sight, folks. And I do warn people about this. If the deputy sheriff finds out you didn't take responsibility and let your livestock loose, you're going to face jail time. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I know in California, the counties come after you, the state comes after you, and if you're in the city limits or the animals wander into city limits, they come after you. Yeah, those animals are your responsibility.
Right, and it's worse if they're hurt or injured by the fire. It's your fault. You should never let them go into like what's in the background here. Because I had a few neighbors where my house was. I had a cow in my backyard near my swimming pool, and it's like, what the
All right.
I gotta 1 second.
Let me. I'm sure Backwoods will back this one up. If you have a home in a forest fire, those get so hot that they turn red fire brick. Bricks that are kilned in a fire. It turns them basically to powder. Okay, concrete bricks. If you've never seen concrete around fire, it doesn't disintegrate; it explodes. Okay. Yeah. So concrete logs will not prevent your home from burning in an actual wildfire. So it's just my personal observation of what I've seen.
All right. Everyone, this may be a little sensitive for you to look at, so I'm giving you warning now. All right. But, you want to know what, turning animals loose. Animals do not run. They get lost. They get turned around. They get mixed up in the smoke, and they get dead.
And it's a lot worse if you find a half dead one screaming in pain. Do you know what a cow sounds like when it's screaming half burnt?
Yeah. And so it's just so if you know anybody that has animals, if you don't, and you know someone that does, if you do have animals, start making a plan. Make a list. Start thinking, all right, these are what we have. This is how we're going to get them. How are we going to move these animals if it happens? Like I said, it doesn't have to be a fire. Fire is probably the most destructive, but hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding. Sometimes you have to evacuate and you got to go. What was that, Al?
Flooding.
Everybody exactly.
Flooding, and you see the dog and cat in the house drowned, or you see the cows in the field floating. They're not swimming, folks. They drown. Cows do not swim.
Very well.
Horses
or very
swim.
Long distances. They can cross across the river, and that's about it.
if you want to see how bad it can really get for flooding, just go look at some recent videos out of China with all the flooding they've had.
Oh, did you
Okay, I mean, we're talking a few 100,000 chickens sitting on the back of wagons because they drowned. Pigs belly up because they drowned. They can't swim in this.
Right.
So no, I do not have any animals at this location. It is not feasible for me to have one.
Yeah. So start making plans.
Right.
Start making contacts. Check with your local animal services. Check with your local kennel club. Check with your local horsemen's association, cattlemen's association.
This goes for all you homestead preppers out there who think nothing will happen because you're damn compliant and think everything's rainbow. We're rainbow preppers. Everything's rainbow sparkly and everything's cool. And you have a pond and you have goats. And I got to calm down again.
Yeah. Kathy, for the Idaho property, we're lucky. We're surrounded by farmland that is right now they're growing alfalfa, and it gets up so tall they go in and they mow it, take it down, and basically they're mowing it, rolling it, and putting it into trucks and taking them over and piling it for silage. Or we got potatoes, and potatoes don't get very tall. They're green, and when they start to turn, they just go through it and they dig it all up. And I got right about 10 feet off the side of the west side of the property here. I have a 30-foot wide irrigation canal. Then it goes down into a big flat area that is kept mowed short. And then I got railroad tracks and Highway 91. And then I got the Snake River. So from the west, I'm protected. On the east, it's farmlands and everything's kept short out here. They are very, very, very serious about weed control out here. In California, the houses in Martinez were on what's called Mid-Hill area, and there's only so much we can do there. Yes, there's a lot of old trees in the neighborhoods and stuff, but it's also there's several city parks around there to act as buffers. But that area there is also pretty much maintained. You get yards and stuff. Anybody has any dead grass and stuff, everybody's making phone calls to the fire department to come out and find them. And they have 7 days to get those weeds taken care of. And then the county brings in a crew, cleans it up, and bills the homeowner.
Okay, now this is the important part. After this fire behind us in the background, after it dies down, if you want hell and if you did not plan, all hell will break loose on your head, because my homestead was destroyed. So we're not going to put 6 horses and a dozen sheep and goats and 2 dogs. I can't put him in the van and I can't put him in the apartment building. It looks kind of stupid. Come on, Norris, get up those stairs.
Yeah. So, I almost said the one with the proper planning prevents poor performance, or a few other ones that have choice words in there that I know Steve likes to use.
Yeah, it's proper prior planning prevents poor performance.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's one I did that's about twice that long, and it has a few very colorful words in there.
Yeah, very colorful.
Hey, I was trying to keep it family friendly.
True.
Yeah, exactly. But, those that have animals need to plan. I talked about on Tuesday, we were talking about pets. My wife and I both got on our daughter and son-in-law about they're just getting, we're going to go get another dog. The heck you are. You already gotten rid of 2. You guys are not ready to have that type of animal because you don't take care of it. You don't train it, take care of it. The rabbits they have, they got 4 rabbits. I told them, don't get the rabbits till you have everything set up. And so they made a rabbit tractor. They're moving around the yard constantly, but the rabbits still get out. But
right, I forget, went up too fast. Foxy had a point on boarding kennels. Folks, if you ever use a boarding kennel, find out their monthly rates and make sure you plan ahead with them, because last fire that I know with people putting all their dogs in kennels, they jacked the price up because they didn't have enough space. Because once the fire starts, all the kennels are filled.
Hey, Kalen, that's been around since long before he decided to start making it his channel mantra. Reality Survival used to coin that on every one of his videos back when he was really popular and before he sold his soul
to the devil.
I don't know who he sold it to, but he's sold it.
Oh, usually it's the Chinese.
I was going to say that too.
Well, I actually had to correct him on some misinformation he was trying to spew, and then he blocked me from his channel.
Right.
It's like, what? Whatever, dude.
Okay. Let's see.
Bunnies. Yeah.
Those are easy, folks. But again, with the heavy animals like horses, cows, goats, sheep, pigs, make sure you have insurance and make sure every animal is identifiable. That's either it's a microchip or tattoo in the ear. I forgot.
No, go Old West. Branding iron.
Yeah, they don't like using branding iron anymore, but they have metal tags, not just the cheap plastic one, which most people use. They do have the metal ones they can ear tag them with.
Yeah, but I always those are you could counterfeit. I always put lip tattoos in their lower upper lip. That way, if you steal one of my animals, I got your butt.
Yeah. So
I don't believe so, Kathy. Kathy asked you a question.
Which one was that?
No. All right. Martinez, California is very secure right now. The only time, in fact, there is no fires burning around it. When one does flare up, the largest one they had was last fall, and that was in an area that wasn't in the city of Martinez. It was just outside of it, and it was an area we call Garbage Gardens.
Yeah,
and they had a 5-acre burn over there, and they put it out. But the guy who had the garbage garden over there had lost 12 of his junkers sitting out there. But my house in California is it's safe. It's my property has luscious green trees on it, apple trees, orange trees, and stuff like that. So we're well done. And on the one side of me, we got a big cement open area that the preschool uses. So we're my house there is I'm not worried about it getting caught in any of the wildfires.
Right. Now you want to hear a disaster? Gil, you remember this, the Oakland fire?
Oh yeah. Oh yes, the Oakland fire, which brought Fire Scope to northern.
Froze again.
Yeah. Fire Scope had been in existence in Southern California since the late 60s. And Fire Scope is I'm trying to remember it. Fire Response Southern California Operation. I can't remember the rest of it, but it was the birthplace of Incident Command. But Oakland Hills Fire was ugly because they did not have an interagency incident command system in place like they did in Southern California.
Right. And also, they didn't have animal control or CART or CERT. It was a total, how can I say it politely, poo waste show.
Yeah. And so, but they have come a long ways. When 9/11 happened, the federal government went to California. Okay, you guys learn from all your stuff. You have the incident command system. We're taking it and making it national.
Good.
All right, Kathy just put up the fire map there, people.
So I have to tell people, if you don't get your flooding right now, flood insurance for the south, southeast, east, and central states, right now is hurricane season. Ida is barreling down towards the southern Gulf states. If you think you're going to get flood insurance now, I'm going
Forget
to
it.
laugh. Yep,
Yeah.
it's too late.
Yeah, you better get your plan in place to be able to, if you have animals and you think there's even a small chance, 1% chance you might have to evacuate, you better have 5 or 6 plans in place.
They call it the cone of uncertainty for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to be able to figure out, all right, if it comes this way, I need to go that way. I need to have some place to go. I need to have somebody there who's willing to take me and my animals. If it comes this direction, I need to go that way. I need to have someone there that's willing to take me and my animals.
Well, ain't nobody willing to take me or my animal, so my son. So
yeah, but there is this, I'm sorry folks, this just gets me really perturbed. And I saw water. And just, the fact that people don't plan, they get animals and they don't plan ahead and figure out, okay, what do I need to change in my life because of this animal? You get a pet, like I mentioned on Gray Man Prepping on Tuesday, you get a pet, it's like getting a baby. Your life changes. You can't just take off for a weekend and go out camping or whatever, or go run up to, from California, everyone would run up to Reno, to go gambling for the weekend, partying and stuff. No, you got an animal you got to take care of. And so a lot of people learned when they just left the dog there and they took off, they left food and stuff, and the dog came back, the dog had peed and crapped all over the place, ate up, chewed on the couch, tore up the beds, just destroyed their house because, hey, they never trained the dog properly. They never took the time to educate it. Never took thought.
They didn't cage it.
I need to take it to a kennel.
I at least finally found out where I sit within the community. I get to sleep in the barn. Thanks.
Okay, folks, another tip.
Hey, they got a light out there.
It ain't Motel 6, dog on it.
Okay, folks, This is a tip from Uncle Alan. If you're really old, do not get cattle, do not get horses. And if you don't have a trailer, we're talking animal trailer, not one of those little too cute you pull behind your 150 that takes 2 horses. We're talking heavy duty 250 trailer for hauling animals and cattle. Sorry, I'm trying not to.
You got to type that right, Courtney, for it to get my attention. It's not prepper, it's prepping. I'm not a prepper. I'm an advanced engineer preparedness person.
So if
all right, you need to have a decent sized one. A little one like this, if you got more than two animals, no. And you put 2 big horses in there, or 2 big steers in there, that little car ain't pulling that trailer very much at all.
Hell no.
True, Kathy.
You want something that can handle. Froze. The guy I bought the property from, his trailer had 3 axles on it, was 10 foot longer, and he had his it was a Chevy, so that's a 35. No, it was the 45. No, it's equivalent of an F550. So it's a 50, the C 5500 that he pulled his with, and then of course he had the semi with the big one to move everything in as well.
Right.
But,
and remember, folks, cows are bigger than horses.
Yeah.
But you can triple stack cows, depending on the potbelly trailer, of course. You cannot triple stack horses.
No.
You cannot double stack horses.
No. They can't get upset.
Mm-hmm. They don't like having somebody above or below them. They tend to get a little antsy.
Yeah, and they're almost twice as tall as a cow.
Yeah.
But so
Cows are bulky and wide.
if you have animals, you need to have the proper transportation for them, or have made plans with several other people that can come in to help you evacuate them.
Right, because if you're 80 or 60 years old, you can't be shooing with a little stick. Get into the car, Big Joseph.
Hey, I'm 64. I don't shoot them with a stick. I get out the bullwhip and I move them.
Okay, see, Gil's got the right idea.
Kettle prod.
A lot of you, and also Dave does too, but a lot of you haven't handled big animals. You got chickens, you got rabbits, you got ducks, you got turkeys. I personally know what it feels like to get stomped by a steer or bull because I didn't castrate him yet. Ugh. And it hurts, folks. It's not a fun time.
Yeah, they're trying to see. All right, this is kind of what similar to what Brandon had. This one here. Let's see if I can make that bigger. Let's see if I just do a quick save image and see if it'll throw me up a big one there.
Right.
Open file. There we go.
Tasha has a good point. Don't put horses in a cattle trailer. It's not designed for them. Usually it clips them in the head.
Yeah. A good horse trailer has panels that swing, and so you open it all up, take the horses to the front, close up around them, take the next ones in, close it up around them and stuff. But when Brandon took out his pigs, he used this. He had several trailers, but he used one like this to move his pigs out with.
Pigs are a little easier to move. Yeah, you can usually only double stack pigs, but you can get a whole lot more pigs in there than you think.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't seem to mind as much of being packed in like sardines as your cattle and your horses. Cattle and horses do not like being packed like sardines.
No. So, yeah, if you're thinking about getting a cow for a milk cow or a cow for beef, you need to have a trailer. And so, and like Kathy said, pigs like to huddle.
Yep.
Yeah, but see, somebody needs to get hold of the military, and those who've been in the military will understand the following statement. We are not pigs. We do not like to huddle in the back of cattle trailers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those who've been in the military will understand that statement.
Yeah, I know.
The rest of you, enjoy your little bit of ignorant bliss there.
Yeah.
Ignorance means a lack of knowledge. That's all it means. It's not. Ignorance was never meant to be a derogatory statement. The true definition is lack of knowledge. So.
All right, I'm gonna make a movie quote here. As the bandit told Frog, your ignorance only depends on what part of the country you're from and where you're currently at.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, our cabin's in the wood.
Hi, our cabin's in the wood.
All right,
we're at the top of the hour.
Yeah, we got a couple more minutes here, but yeah, I'm gonna hammer it on again, folks. You have animals, you better be making plans. You better be making plans before you get animals. So you're going to get more animals than what you have. So you're going to say you have pigs and you have chickens and you're planning on getting goats. You better do your research and make plans on how to handle an evacuation if you need to.
Kaylin brings up a valid point. Hit on it real fast. If you're thinking about getting animals and your state fair is coming up soon, go there, especially to the livestock barns, and talk to other people there who bring in trailers full of animals and ask them their experiences. Go talk to people. Don't go to the sales lot and talk to that bozo wearing a suit and tie trying to sell you a trailer. Go talk to the farmers who actually have to move their cattle or whatever else and ask them, what did you learn and why are you using what you were using? And learn from somebody who's probably made a mistake or two and learn from their mistakes.
Right.
So also, you don't make your own.
Also, a good group to talk to is the local 4-H, because a lot of kids has to load up their livestock into trailers to take them out to the county fair. They will tell you how to handle younger and every size animal you can imagine.
All right, night, Tasha. Okay. All right. So I hope I didn't offend anybody by all the hammering on it. But I mean, I love animals. I mean, we've had chickens, goats, pigs, horses, cows, and whatever we had, my dad always made sure he had something that could haul everything.
And please don't be like people in India driving a Yugo down the street with the doggone longhorn Brahma bull sitting in the back end of it.
Yeah.
Yugos weren't made for Brahma bulls. Neither was Chevette or anything like that.
Even if it is a pet. Yeah. All right. Coming up Tuesday on Gray Man Prepping Tactical Tuesday, it's going to be emergency communications. What's your plans? We're going to talk about communication plans, emergency, how you make contact, how you keep in contact with people. What are your plans for keeping in contact with people outside of the state? Because, hey, YouTube and the internet may not be up.
Smoke signals.
No, not in fire season. No smoke signals in fire season.
Or flare guns.
Yeah, no, you want to avoid.
Yeah, but that way, several states away, they could still see your signal.
Yeah, after the
Thanks,
fire
Kathy.
gets started.
All right. And then next Friday here, we're going to take the homestead back into survival mode a little bit. We're going to be talking about the top 5 garden items to salvage in an SHTF/Tawaki situation where there is no rule of law and things have gone and made contact with the rotary oscillator at high speed.
Yeah.
And then the following Tuesday, that one's up in the air still. 2 weeks from tonight, on September 10th, I'll be in California, and it may or may not happen because that's my anniversary. And if I can, I'll bring the wife on here. We'll have a little short half-hour one, and we'll have, maybe open up for some Q&A so you guys can actually ask my wife questions if I can get her to come on here.
It didn't work last year or the year before.
Well, that wasn't on our anniversary either. This is actually on our anniversary, the 10th.
I mean, I vaguely remember seeing a frying pan hovering over your head when you asked that one day over a live stream if she'd want to be on. And she really didn't say much, but I could have swore I seen the shadow of a cast iron frying pan over your head.
Yes, I got a mic set up. I'm actually going to go into the house, and the other camera I gave my daughter, which works a lot better than the one in California. I'm going to grab it and take it to California and bring the other one back here. That way, when she does StreamYard with Grammy for the grandkids, they can see on that one. But so, anyways, so that's what I got coming up. Dave, do you have a topic for Tuesday?
I'm working on one. I'm not sure what it is yet, but I got a couple ideas.
Okay.
I'll be back on the first full blast. Yeah. I still got to rest up.
Okay, and if anybody here isn't subscribed to Gray Man Prepping, you're missing out. I'm running videos every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, a little short 5-minute video, 4-minute video called Your Prep for Today. And that's going on. So we're on number 27 of that series right now.
Which is shoes.
Which was shoes. Talked about shoes. Just a quick little blip about shoes. So, all right, folks. I think we're going to wrap it up here now. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you for your comments in the side chat. And if you missed stuff,
you're frozen.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. They need frozen around where the fires are at, so it puts the fires out. And
see, what we need to do is get you. I'll go find you a perfect backdrop for your green screen.
I already started to get one. I go, no, I'm not going to do it. Anyways, I don't want to get dinged by Disney. Anyways, so everyone, please, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out doing anything foolish. And most importantly, stay prepared